Yeah, my mate Gary Francis years ago was going through the airport and he popped in and walked around Smith's, I think it was, and he see a book and he bought it called Street Fighters and he was reading it and boom, look, there's me in the book, yeah, and it's about people that run clubs, hard men, yeah, real hard men. And I was very lucky to be put in that, and I'm proud to be put in that because of the people that are in it, yeah, big names, yeah. And they say he went all around England to do this, and the other day, I think it was yesterday actually, I got a message from a guy called Gregory Hall, yeah, and he said he's in the book. There's a little chapter in the book, but it's not a little chapter. There's a big chapter in this book, yeah, about him, yeah. He's, you've got to be a certain sort of person, to look after doors. Believe me, it's not anybody can do it. You've got to be special, especially in the days that we was looking after. You know what I mean? So anyway, this is the guy here. That's the guy there, Gregory Hall, yeah? Right. He's standing next door, right, to a guy called Royce Gracie, yeah? Royce Gracie, they're legends, the Gracie family, yeah? I believe that it was either his dad or his uncle that done the jiu-jitsu. He had his own way of doing it, yeah? And so Gracie was a good jiu-jitsu. I mean, to get anywhere with a belt he got a blue belt. This guy, this Greg Hall, yeah. And I should imagine now by the time it's years, yeah. I mean, this is on about 30 years, maybe even longer than that, yeah. He's definitely got a black belt, and to have a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Trained by Gracie. Gracie's you got to be a bit near the mark, you know what I mean? And as I say, this guy is people that have got this book, Street Fighters. Look in it. It's a guy called Greg Hall, yeah, Gregory Hall. Mate, I can't believe it. Fantastic, mate. It's like the geezer's is the business, mate, And I want to read it. And come back to you. On my video, yeah. But when he told me, and I looked at it, and I thought, I look at it this morning, yeah, and boom, I got straight into it, you know what I mean? And as I said, I'm not a very good reader, yeah. It takes me ages to read, but I eventually do, yeah. I get a bit bored, I'm a bit dyslexic, so I'm going to get into this book, and I want to come back to you and do a little story about this geezer, yeah. But to me, this guy seems the right business. You know what I mean? It's not. He said I'm in there, but I just got a short. He isn't short. He's quite large. He's quite a big story. This kid has been about, and he's a bit of an handful, And I'm so pleased for him to get in contact with me, And and I think to myself, crikey, and I'm in that league. I'm around that league with these people, yeah. They're all proper doormen, and I was exactly the same, yeah. And you've got to be someone to be put in books, you know what I mean? And I'm quite excited. It really excited me for him to be put me in this book, yeah. But to read some of the stories in here is phenomenal, mate. Some proper people in this book. You've got to buy it. I mean, I don't know if you can buy it anymore. I don't know if it's available. Street Fighters by Julian Davis, but this. But if someone's, it's got to me, you know what I mean? It's got to me because it's for someone in this book was still alive like myself, yeah. Is unbelievable. Brian Cottrell's in this book, but I'm on about Brian Cottrell when he was Brian Cottrell, And there's a lot of people in here. I mean, one of the obviously so. The best one in this book, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, I feel, is the old Barty Gorman. You know what I mean, Barty Gorman, and to be in that book with Barty is good. Is unbelievable. Roy Shaw's, Lenny McLean's, they're not in there at all. They're not in there. Yeah, so it just goes to show you what sort of people are in this book. Yeah, proper. Hard, nasty people, but respectable people, you know what I mean? To work on a club door in our days, was not easy. You know, it was not easy. Now it's a little bit different, you know. It's all that bending your wrists and all that game. It's not the same no more. People on the door are a little bit feminine now. It ain't the same, you know. They believe in phoning the police up and all this, that and the other. But in my times, you just go in and have a proper fight, you know what I mean? And if you get hurt, you get hurt. But, you know, that's why I loved when I was a doorman. I loved when I was working on the doors. I love that part of it. But to be in a book, I know I keep saying it, but to be in a book like that, Street Fighters, you got to be proper, mate. You got to be proper. And Gregory Hall, well done, mate. I'm going to get into that book. It might take me a couple of days to read chapters out of it, but I am going to read chapters, mate. And I am going to do another video about it, about you, mate. But anybody who's been around the Gracies, I mean, the Gracies are the jiu-jitsu. They're the best, mate. They were the best in the world, you know. I think, you know, they made their own martial arts. They made it their own one, yeah. And every time you pick at MMA and all them sort of things, and it just says their jiu-jitsu's this and jiu-jitsu's that. But Gracie's, they're the ones, mate. They're the ones. I remember years ago, quickly, yeah, that there was a great big Russian guy. He was massive, but I don't know, he was absolutely ginormous. And he was knocking everybody out, you know. And Gracie, I'm not quite sure which one it was, yeah, but got in the ring with this guy. And in no time at all, he had him on the floor crying like a baby. You know, this big guy has been knocking people out like he's going out of fashion. He's been hit on top of the head and they've been fainting, seriously. But he got in. I think he's either Australian, he was either Russian or Canadian, something like that, this guy, people might remember. But a big man, he was knocking everybody out, and he got in the ring with Gracie's, mate, and all over, within seconds, not within seconds, a couple of minutes, he worked it out, bump, in there, crash, had this geezer crying in seconds, mate, after he got his locks on him, yeah. But the Gracies, as I said, the Gracies are different people, mate, and to be trained by them, you must be so proud. Gregory Hall, mate, well done, boy. And I'll do another one later. But good morning to you, mate, and thanks very much for getting in touch with me, yeah? Nice one. Gregory Hall. Anybody's got the book, don't forget Gregory Hall, yeah? Nice one.